Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I do hope you're all doing great. And thank you very much for that to Daz. He's always looking great. Attractive, I dare say. Yeah, so we'll get on with this in just a moment here, and hopefully audio is all good to go. It probably would be, I'd like to imagine. Yeah, I got the new patch there, Shu. I do have that patch. I considered potentially talking about the patch. It's very interesting, but it's quite a few changes, and it made me think, do I restart the campaign? But I'm like, we could still probably carry on. There's a lot of changes, but some of the actual Berlin to Stalingrad changes, it's okay, I can live without that. In the future, maybe, but we'll see. We're gonna get somewhere, haven't we? Okay. So, leaving off from where we last were. Now, I did actually make some moves on a stream of my own channel. The reason being, just so I could get a head start here for today, really. Otherwise, it would have taken some time. But what I wanted to go over is essentially what the game plan is over here. I actually do almost, well, I do regret, because like the 253rd was actually split up into 3 regiments. And a big part of me is like, you know what? In the, after the matter, I kind of regret not just bringing the regiments down here and having all the divisions retreat yet further. But we have what we have. We do have a double stack of divisions over here. I need to go ahead and sort out these core headquarters. But we decided to draw back to a line over here. We do have the ×3 terrain. I say ×3. You know what I mean. They have the woods over here, basically ×3. But yes, we do have that over here. And we do have a line. This position here is really interesting. I do think I will, in fact, fall back into the light woods. Clear terrain's a very interesting one. Very interesting one. Something I could potentially do as well is, I don't know really, it's an interesting one. I know I said that a few times. But it's like, I could either move to the light woods in front of Asma, which might be a worthwhile idea. Because then I could have like 2 divisions there. And I do deny them the good road to move through here. Then again, I could just move to this hex over here and have them in reserve. And yeah, the reason why I'm talking about that is because I don't like the fact that we're in clear terrain. Clear terrain now, especially with the new patch. Each new patch is progressively up in the ante as far as it goes in terms of artillery and combat. With the latest changes, the terrain does have quite a bit more of an impact. Essentially what we'll see happening now more and more, and I believe we should see it now. I have updated, so hopefully that will take place with the actual combat. But essentially what's going to start happening now then is, in terrain like clear, and I guess light and things of that nature, I imagine it's like a scale. But in terrain where it's more open, the actual rounds of combat will be longer, and they'll take place at a greater range, is what I believe will happen. And that is where artillery is going to start to come into its own as well there, so that's something to watch out for. But I think I may, in fact, withdraw them to there. I could have like 2 divisions, I could have like 1 division there, 1 division there, but I think 2 divisions together is probably a good thing to have. It does mean that we do have a solid unit to work with there. It's an awkward one though, really, because I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do this. Like, Asma is quite useful, but it's not a victory point, so I do need to recognise that. I'd like to try and ultimately draw back to over here, really. And the best way to actually be able to draw back is by having men to do that. That'd be ideal. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do then is I'm going to draw back with the 31st and the 258th. And it's a hard choice because I could go here. We do have snow there. There's more water here. A little bit of snow. Both positions, I guess, are good. But I feel like being in position there does mean that we will ultimately invite a greater attack against us. And I'm not all about that. I could cover both hexes over here, but then it's like, well... And that could probably work to a degree, but I want to go ahead and make sure that we go back here. I'm on the good road, I've got the average road over here as well. And I can go ahead and assume a reserve position there. It does mean that this clear hex is potentially going to be occupied, but it does mean that we can attack that from multiple angles. There is something of a gap over here, but that's not terribly bad. maybe I do want to have something there. I guess I will do. I'm not particularly pleased about it, but I guess I can't really allow... Well, I don't know. In theory, they have to get through here, and I don't think they would have the zone of control enough to do that, especially with the river here as well. So, I'm going to have faith in that. We do have the depot here anyway. Yeah, I'm going to have faith in that. I've got less men over here. They may be, in fact, attracted this way, but we'll see about that. But yeah, again, I'm going to sort out the core headquarters in the near future, so we'll get to that one. And do let me know if you guys have been able to keep up with the series so far. I'm trying to see if there's anybody over here. Ah, there we go, we got Fran. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm trying to see if anybody's in the chat. Sometimes my tablet does not keep up, but here we are, that's all good. But so the changes that I've made as well is the motorized and the armored units. Well, I reformed the 10th motorized over here. They are really quite in need of reinforcement. But what I decided to go ahead and do then is this area over here is not exactly viable for us to hold on to. How you doing there, Perch? Good to have you, my man. So what I decided to go ahead and do then is draw the armoured forces and the panzers back where I could. I did send the Großdeutschland over here as well, actually, to bolster the 8th SS cavalry. I need to go ahead and sort out the command. But I decided to go ahead and concentrate the armoured forces out this way. When I say concentrate, that's probably a bit of a joke, really. There's not much to concentrate, I must be honest. That headquarters there, I may in fact, and I will in fact, have that just moved over that way. I don't really want to be that close. I'm within range for the command now. That's good enough. Now, they need to head to a depot. Well, in fairness, actually, I could potentially move them there, but that's not particularly great. Or I could even have them set on top over here, but that's only 10,000 men. There is a depot here, which is useful, don't get me wrong. But, quite vulnerable. And speaking of depots, I'm going to go ahead and sort these guys out. I'm going to make that one a free as well. These ones over here on priority are an interesting one. This one's an interesting one. If I go ahead and take a look over here. So, we do have 1681 stored there in terms of freight. That's good. I may go ahead and actually set that to a very high priority, so then freight doesn't actually leave. What I'm going to do is also make that a level 4 priority too. The idea being that freight won't actually leave these positions, nor will it really leave this position here, but it will still draw it. So I do want them to actually have freight in here so they can convert that to supply. Now God help them, they are going to need it. Now for the core over here then, I could not actually, yeah, because I can't move that there. I can go ahead and move this over here then, and I can set them to refit there. I'm going to go ahead and move that down there. I've also got this command here. Core commands are going to be an interesting one. So in fact, I'm actually going to put that back there, because I need to go ahead and sort out the actual commands here. But that's looking relatively good. Now, why is that one red? I'm not too sure. That's an interesting one. Oh, now it's... Oh, okay, never mind. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I think I'm going to go ahead and actually make these... level 4 priorities as well. I just want to make sure that the freight remains here for the time being. But I'm also going to make that a 4 as well. The reason being that these depots will draw in freight, but that'll be good. Yes, changes to the assault headquarters as well, yes. Very big changes, in fact, very big changes. They have been quite reduced. I think in 1942 we only have about 3 assault headquarters now, actually. But, indeed. I wonder actually, is that represented? I have 1 assault headquarters. Ah, let me find it. Yeah, maximum 3 there. I think previously it was 4. And before that, I think it used to be 6 or something of that nature. But now we're down to 3, which is fine because I didn't really want to particularly use them anyhow. I'm gonna have to try and make that work, which is gonna be a lot of fun there. There's a lot of actual headquarter things to do over here, which is going to take some time. Now, speaking of that, I need to go ahead and actually assess the situation here in terms of units. So what do we have here then? We have the 2nd Luftwaffe Field Division there. We've got units over here at Smolensk. I've got a HQ out there. Somewhat overburdened. Got the FBD out here. Now, in terms of the FBD over here at Vitesk. I heard Dojo actually say it properly. I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you would say it. But indeed, there we are. So over here, then I think we have like what? Yeah, size 2 rail yard. Smolensk is a size 3. So it's interesting, really, because this is like a pretty central location. But in fairness, I do have a rail here, and I do have that rail. I mean, these rail double lines are bringing 30k. So really, it's an interesting position here, really. It's a very interesting position. Because it does have the connection of 4 double lines there. But then it's also in an interesting position because it's like, well, that's all well and good, but the thing is it's drawing then from the 2 lines here. And I don't know... I don't know if I prefer that. I think I do because it connects up to the lines as I said. I suppose that's probably better because it's like, well, the issue is there's a hard limit to how much I can actually have here, like how much I can actually operate. We only really have that 20,000 capacity there from size 2 rail yard. I think I could increase the capacity of the actual depot itself up to 60k with additional headquarters. And that's really what I want to look towards doing. I think that's what we'll go for. As you can see over here we have 6k cap, and I want to get that. So I'm going to look towards getting a headquarters out here at Vitebsk. Vitebsk? That'll be the idea. Right, so this is a Luftwaffe field division over here. And, let's see. I need them to go ahead and sit on a depot, really. And I have an element to the 197th over here, then. Okay. So I'd like to go ahead and have that sent over here to Smolensk, I do believe. But I think, in fact, I may go ahead and have it sent over here. But we'll see. So we've got these elements here. And that's for the Luftwaffe. So I'm going to have them sent out towards Smolensk. I'm going to have them sit on top of each other just so we can actually have that work. That unit is depleted, but still technically in action, but I'm not going to have it moved into action. They can just move, actually, to just within range of Smolensk. They could maybe start digging there, but they've only got one construction value. But still, it's better than absolutely nothing, so I'll get that going. Now, that unit there is unready, but it's actually in a better state. So I could go ahead and do Venice, place it over here, and then I can have that place into refit mode, and get that back up to strength, really. Ideally soon. Right. Command is going to be a big thing to do over here. We do need to dig in, so I do need to go ahead and actually source out some construction units, which is going to be easier said than done. Now, they're going to be quite widespread for the most part, and I am going to have to track them down. But I'm going to go ahead and have the actual construction units assigned to the core for the most part. I think I'll probably aim for about 3 or more. Maybe even like 5, something of that nature. So essentially we have like 1 per division, and maybe that works out. Something of that nature anyway. But 3 is probably not a bad thing to aim for, just to begin with. But I do have a number of cores over here. I'm hoping that can actually make that work for me. The likelihood is that I do have a number of cores placed under the command of Army Group Center. The reason being that we don't have enough armies in the actual field to have the proper chain of command. But that works out well enough. I'd have to choose when I were to do that. But we'll see. I'm going to have to try and balance things. But I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the rest of the line. And that shouldn't take all that long. In reality. So over here I've got the regiment. Let's go ahead and press Z so I can take a look at their defense value. There we are. So, 913 there. The question comes down to how much we actually want here. I don't like to have regiments, really. But I do have level 3 fort, which does help. But in time, I will take them off the line where I can. Over here is a bit of an awkward one, because I do have what is the 2nd Panzer Army. And we have a armoured, motorised, armoured on the line there. And I'd rather not have that. And in fact, really, I'd prefer to have them drawn back to Arel, so they can actually avoid the worst of the winter. So, we'll have to make a choice of that, really. And it may just be best to take them off the line, go for 2 regiments. We can manage 2 regiments. It's not particularly ideal, but I do want to draw these panzers and motorize off the line. The thing I do have to manage then is, with a rail, we do have a size 3 rail yard, which is actually pretty fantastic. I've got to manage the capacity there. And we do have... we actually do have heavy artillery there as well, that's cool. Yeah, so we do have the 2nd Panzer Army there, which can remain for the most part. Though I do wonder if Bryansk would actually be potentially worthwhile. Granted, it's a size 2 rail yard, but actually having the HQ there would bring up the capacity here as well. I do have core commands in this area, but I'm thinking, well, actually, to be fair, so what? Bryansk is a city there. So what I could go ahead and do is take the 18th Panzer and have that move out to Bryansk, perhaps. Or even have the 18th and the 4th Panzer move to Orel, and have the 25th Motorized Division move down here to Bryansk. And then we can get a headquarters in there. That works out relatively well. I do have a Luftwaffe Field Division over here, which is interesting. I need to figure out how we're going to handle them. I likely will have that sent up to the north to, like, Orientbahn, perhaps. Or even down here to the Crimea. I think the Crimea is a pretty good option. The reason being, while these Luftwaffe Field Divisions aren't particularly fantastic, they're good enough to stand in place, if that makes sense. And obviously having a good, solid, or at least dependable German garrison of Crimea would actually help out pretty significantly. So that might be the way we go there. If you guys have any thoughts, do let me know. Yeah, I'd consider sending the Luftwaffe to the theatre boss. But really, what I'd prefer to do is, while the Luftwaffe field divisions aren't great, the Romanian and Italian, probably Hungarian forces to a degree, are worse. Obviously, it depends there, really. But what I'd like to do then is ultimately try and get into a situation where I can draw off Italians and Romanians, especially Romanians. If I can draw off the Romanians into the actual garrison, and the Hungarians as well. So I'd rather go for effectively just a German force. I'm going to pull these forces back bit by bit, as best as I can. But essentially, I want to keep the actual German forces in the field. We have, I guess you could say, we have like an effective limit of about 3 or so million men that we can adequately supply and really probably keep in the field in decent strength. There's a bit of an issue really when it comes down to strength here. Because the strength really isn't limited by the number of divisions or the amount of manpower per se here in the east. It's more so limited by the freight. It's more so limited by the fact of logistics. So if I go ahead and try to just keep the German forces actually in the field, then all of that manpower, all of the actual equipment and the freight actually goes to the German units. And I might be able to maintain the strength of the German forces better that way, by having less men on the field, well, less divisions and formations on the field. But more men, if that makes sense, or at least we actually are able to maintain numbers to a superior standard. But yeah, we'll see about that. That's going to take some doing. But yeah, what I'm going to go ahead and do then is I'm going to go ahead and stick with the plan of the Panzers there. I think it's always better to have the Panzers as an actual responsive force. Able to actually launch counterattack would actually be very vital, because we need to be able to actually have something ready for a counterattack. If I just sit on the line here without reserves, it doesn't really do us any good. At least in my opinion, I don't think it does us any good. So, the 18th will move to Orel. And I may actually just go ahead and place them under the direct command of the army, but we'll see about that. And so much for that. So 4th Panzer can't move, which is a bit awkward. Now there are some forces I can move and there's others that can't. So I can't move them. I can move the motorized. The motorized bloody a lot of mobility there. That's really good. But even so, these guys are in level 3 forts, so they're not actually taking winter attrition as such. Or the additional attrition, I should say. And these guys can't be moved, so yeah, we don't have as much freedom as we would have imagined, but we have enough. So what I'm going to go ahead and do then is I'm going to break this up. I just need to make this work. So I want to have 2 regiments at least on each position. So I'm going to take the 2nd 339th. I'm going to take the 3rd 216th over here. That gives me that. Now, that's 2-2. We should have enough here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is take the 3rd and 2nd of the 208th and move them in here. I'm going to take the 211th and take the 3rd of the 211th over here. So we have 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. These guys need to take off the line. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I could actually go ahead and place them in a rail. Maybe not a bad idea because they're quite close to the front. I could even, in fact, take them over this way, which is not a bad idea either. And maybe even a wiser idea to actually have something out here to truly give us a little bit more staying power. So I do have 72nd Infantry Division there. Granted, that's 27 though, so they're actually in a pretty good position. But I could maybe do with like a responsive force out here. That may be worthwhile having. Or even further out here, to be fair. So that's like where the actual threat is right now. But then again, I need to respect that we can't simply send the entire panzer forces of the east to any one location. We need to, well, we need to send them to, like, danger zones, but we also do need to actually keep them relatively concentrated, but concentrated in such a way that we have the actual panzer armies. And we'll try and aim for that. So, maybe out here. Now, the actual capacity over here is 50k. I could boost that up to 60k by having another core command there. So I think what I'll go ahead and do then is take the actual 25th Motorized Division and have them placed out here at Bryansk. At least for now. It means I can actually place them under the command of Army Group Center or Army Group A or B or whichever one it is. It's definitely not Don. Might be A in this area or B in this area. But we can actually change them out. So, we've got that then. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do. Move the 2nd and 3rd over here. It's a bit of a poor position, really. I've got to say it's a bit of a poor position because we're in clear terrain there. Really, what I'd be better off doing is falling back to the actual light woods over here. But it's hard to abandon level 3 forts. That's the thing, it's always hard to do that because they are very good. But that does leave me in an interesting position now, because I actually do have one additional regiment here. So what I could go ahead and do then is have the 3rd to 93rd actually begin to prepare their own positions. Like so. So I'm going to take this element of 93rd to 93rd, move them there. Take another element of the 52nd and move them there. And then what I can do is take the 134th third over here and place that there. Yes, super depots aren't as big as they once were. Like, we do have that over here. I mean, we're still technically in the opening stages, really. But the advantage that we do have in this scenario is the fact that we do have the vast majority of the rail network already repaired on start, which is actually really good. As more than I had in the actual campaign, which is really, really good. It does mean that there's a lot of capacity and there's a lot of actual rail lines to move it. So the FPDs are great, but they're not as needed per se here. But we'll use them. We will use them. There could even be an argument for having them moved, maybe to like somewhere like Minsk or something like that. Something where they can actually really try to aid in pushing supply out. Well, freight out. But on the front helps as well. They're definitely not a bad thing to have wherever they are. And if we take a look over here, yeah, it's just good to have. Good to have. Vitebsk is a pretty good position for them, I suppose you could say. Smolensk is good too, but at least Vitebsk actually has the connections of the rails here to work with, which is pretty handy, especially with those being 30k lines. I just need to increase the capacity over here to Vitebsk, and then I can actually make a great use of that. Okay. Core commands are going to be a bit of an awkward one out here. I'd prefer to do something like that, but I'm not going to have that luxury really, am I? So, what I'm going to go ahead and do then is I'm going to establish a depot here. And I'm going to establish not a depot there, nor there, nor there. So it's going to have to be there then. So unless I can't move it any closer. Here's an awkward one, because I'd really like to have a depot here, but I don't have that luxury. And that's a pretty overloaded command. I mean, obviously this does overload these commands to a degree, because obviously we do have more regiments. But we'll have to try and manage it as best we can. There is some room to have command penalties, but not a great deal of room. It just means that you are going to be fighting less efficiently, really, which is not exactly ideal. But we'll try and manage as best we can. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do then is over here. Because we're in bloody clear terrain, which is not ideal. Really not ideal. So what I'm going to try and do then is establish a backline. Just maintain the 2 there at the front. Now that may be not as wise over there. Yeah, I think I'm going to reform that one. 29, yeah. Probably needed here because we do have these forces. Maybe even here, to be fair. Maybe even there. I do have the advantage of the... Yeah. I think we'll have to take that risk there. It's not a great deal of a... It's not a great risk, I suppose you could say. So I can go ahead and place these in reserve. But it's just more so to be able to actually have like a second line dug there. That'd be quite good. I mean, for God's sakes, I've only got a core. Well, I've only got like bloody couple there. So I think I'm going to have to go for a bit less over here. Less than stellar. Well, we can make that work then. So what I'm going to go ahead and do then is take the 26. And we will reinforce this position here. Which is... I'd really need 2 divisions for that. Or can I even spare 2 divisions? I could move 4 regiments. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But then the issue is the fact that I do have this over here, don't I? So that is a bit of an issue. Yeah. If I place them to reserve. And the issue is they are in clear terrain though, which is not ideal. Yeah, definitely not ideal. I may reinforce this position over here on the crux. Or I suppose the pivot point could call it. I really am tempted to actually have them form up in... Well, actually, no, I do have another Panzer division there, but it's not, again, ideal to have Panzers moved in there. So I'm going to go ahead and move the 17th over there, then. They can also go into reserve here. I mean, I do have a Luftwaffe field, but it's like that's too small. That's much, much too small. I can't really make effective use of that. Alright. Let me see what I can do. So we'll start down here because they're part of the same army. '26. So that's 112. Okay. That's 222. Gives me that one there for 296. I think maybe I just go ahead and send that one there then. But what I'll go ahead and do then is... it's not ideal to separate them like that. But it's not a great deal of choice. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So not particularly fantastic, and I'm going to have to deal with that in terms of command. But at least it does give us the actual 2 regiments over here. It does increase the actual ability of those positions to stand up. The reason why I didn't go for that one and fill that one is, well, we do have the flanking positions there, so at least we do have those. And that does reduce the threat of a breakthrough there. We do also have, of course, the actual Panzer divisions over here in reserve, which is ideal. I'm going to go ahead and make that a level 4 priority too. That can be a free. There we are. May go ahead and actually set up one there too, in fact. It's on a size 2 line, which is handy. out here as well is not a bad position for a depot, but maybe not the best position for a depot. But it's not a bad thing to have lots of depots, really, because at the end of the day, it just helps the actual supply to move. They will try to maintain freight, but it's always good to have a depot to actually fall back to be honest. They do end up building up to a sizable rail yard, so you do gain that capacity there. So, yeah, it's, well, the rail capacity, I suppose you could say. I think that's within 3 hexes. I think that might be within range there from fused horses, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. But yeah, that can go to 3. This is a bit harder out here, but I can go ahead and move, well, establish a depot here, in fact, which will help out. So there we go, 4-4. I could make that a 3, but I do want to maintain that depot there, but that's fine. Okay. Here I can actually go ahead and make it work a lot better. So I can actually establish a depot out there. Could even have one here. Might be worthwhile to have 2, because then we have something to fall back onto. I'm not too concerned about administration points, because I'm not intending to actually have assault armies. So that saves me at least 20 administration points there. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and have a 4 there. That at least gives us the option to have the Hungarians utilize their horses. Italians over here are going to be a wild card. Yeah. So I do have a reserve there. We'll be moving down here slowly but surely. But things are looking okay-ish. We do have reserves, so that's not bad. I prefer them honestly on there, but I can't get that. But I do have second army out here. I'm going to have to make use of that. Now, second army can be within about, what, like 15 hexes, so I could actually establish a position over here at Kursk, if I so wish to do so. Kursk having a size 3 rail yard and a hell of a lot of supply there, in fact. Yeah. I don't have great rail yards out here, so I think I'm going to go ahead and take the position over here at Kursk. But I can't because they're not able to be shifted right now, so never mind. God damn it. Okay, so a lot of forces can't be moved as of yet. Okay. Let's go ahead and sort out the actual headquarters then. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a whole hell of a lot of fun. I will have to go ahead and change out the commanders, but thankfully he's actually pretty good, Mr. Pico over here. And I do have enough of a field corps. LIX. Not particularly the best for panzers, but I could use them to command the infantry in the area. Of which there's actually not that much. Yeah, the infantry's down here, really. But still, it'll come in handy. But I may go ahead and have him replaced with a superior mechanized commander, in fact. And I think I will, because I do need to have commanders in this area. But you can see how these administration points are going to be disappearing quick. So in fact, I'm going to hold off on that for now. And see what else we can do. Here over here, then. Mech is 2, yeah. Oh, okay. He's not a bad infantry commander, but he's definitely not a... he's definitely not a mechanized commander. So that one's pretty wild. But again, we can make use of that. We can definitely make use of all of them. It just comes down to how we can actually position them, really. But we have options, we have choices, we have decisions to be made. But I am going to make use of that call. These guys being depleted over here are not going to do me a tremendous amount of good. So in fact, what we're going to go ahead and do then is... I can't really place that bloody on any depot, but it's a bit pain in the ass. I'm going to go ahead and move it over there. They're going to go ahead and be moved into Army Group Center. Like so. And I do have forces over here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do then is have the infantry placed under the command of the 2nd Luftwaffe Field Corps. These positions may hold. He's not bad. He's pretty average in terms of like German commanders for infantry, which is actually okay. So that is the 2nd Luftwaffe Field Corps, so I'm going to go ahead and utilize that then. Now, they're going to remain under the command of the Army Group Center there. The reason being is I can actually spare capacity then in the armies, more important units like the panzers, etc. Oh, I could actually have a depot there. That's pretty cool. Ah. Well, it holds. I'm not too sure, but it is a pretty good thing to have there. Go ahead and move that. 2nd Luftwaffe Field Corps. Okay. Placement of the command there. Now that's a 547th Separate Infantry Regiment, which is an interesting one. Takes us up to 7. I'm going to go ahead and place them under the command there as well. Now they don't have any support elements, so I need to go ahead and get them some support elements in there, but we can manage that. Okay, so it's going to be a little awkward. But I think it'll be worthwhile. I might even have this go up to 10. It's just slightly over, but it's not a gigantic issue. They are a depot on the rail, so they should be okay. They'll probably not have too many failures. I could go ahead and actually move them there, but in fact I'm going to keep them there. Still within range. It gives us a commander over here, and it takes away a bunch of CP that has, well, a bunch of units that have to be commanded by these corps. And the army, I should say. Takes us down there, yeah. And in fairness, I could probably take that corps. Well, I could have had them assigned directly to Army Group Center, which might have been a good idea, perhaps, but I would prefer to try and keep corps commands here on this part of the line if I can. It's a bit of a critical point. Elsewhere, I could probably get away with things, but here, I think I do need to try and remain somewhat honest. That's probably a good idea. Well, we'd hope so anyway. Right. So what we'll go ahead and do then is figure out a command over here. So I need to have a good armoured commander. And, that'll be an interesting one. He's a good commander all round, actually. Seven there. Now I do have a hot chocolate by myself, so I'm going to go out actually and go ahead actually and have a drink there. Oh yeah, it's good. Why is it spicy? I'm sorry about that. Laugh. Okay, some of these actual Panzer Corps are not particularly fantastic. I do want it to be a Panzer Corps because they do gain a bonus. Okay, wow. Free? Really? Wow. Okay, you are on the chopping block. Well, you're not a Panzer Commander. Well, it's not a Panzer Corps in fairness, but still. Wow. That's pretty poor. Right. Okay, so reality then is going to probably come down to that Panzer Corps there. The 7s are pretty good. I can go ahead and establish it in that position there. Maybe a little bit close to the front line, but it's probably not a bad position to be in. Doesn't make that much of a difference. We'll also have units moved around here. Now, it's currently under the command of the 9th Army. What I'm going to try and do then is essentially bring out the 3rd Panzer Army and actually have it moved out here. So I don't think I'll do things as of yet, but that's going to be the ultimate aim there. An actual Panzer Army can be within 15 hexes of a corps, which can be within 5 hexes of the units there, so we can actually make use of them. But yeah, we'll see. Alright, so for now, well, now actually I'm going to go ahead and place you under command of, is it 3rd or 4th? 3rd. They're going to go under the command of the 3rd Panzer Corps. Panzer Army. I'm not going to replace you. So, under the 3rd Panzer Army you go. Okay. And then all these actual Panzer units are going to move under your command there. So, there's a 41st. He's likely going to be overwhelmed relatively quickly, so I do have to bear that in mind. So, what I'm going to go ahead and do then is the most critical units then need to go under that command. I'm going to need 2 cores really to be able to actually manage this. You over here then, you are 7 on mech as well, so you can also go under the command of the Panzer Army there. Which is good then, so at least I should be able to manage this situation here. Pretty well, in fact. So we've got the 30th and we've got the 41st. Right, so 30th. So I can handle... Yep. And I do want to keep them in a... it doesn't matter all that much. But I would prefer to keep them as a single unit, really. Let me see how we go here. So you go to the 30th. How am I looking? I might actually be able to get them both under command now. I think maybe because there's... Yeah, then that's the problem there. But I think what I'm going to go ahead and do then is have them placed under command of the 30th nonetheless. The reason being that they're all part of the same corps. There's going to be a small penalty there, but it's not going to be a gigantic penalty. But there's also a penalty for... I mean, this is it. There's less of a penalty for fighting alongside divisions that are also part of the same army as you. But if they're not part of the same corps as you, there's a small penalty. So I want to go ahead and actually try to reduce that. I mean, granted, there's a little bit of a penalty for being off a command, but I'm actually part of the same army, and they're part of the same corps. They're going to fight more effectively together that way. And then I can go ahead and actually take these units and place them under the command of the 41st. Right. So that's 41st. There, obviously, I've got the infantry there, but I'll move them away. Yeah, I mean, they're commanding 5 divisions. They can also command 5 divisions, 3 panzers, and 2 motorized. Right, 41st. At 41st. We'll go ahead and make a quick save here when I'm doing actual commands. I don't want to get anything wrong. But we have that done there. So they can command over here. And maybe I bring the... Well, I mean, I'd like to try and bring the panzer commands out this way, but we'll try and see what we can do here. They could actually be reassigned, which is useful. So we'll try and figure that one out. Okay. So... this is where things get more difficult, really. What do I have here? I've got 4th Army. Now, 4th Army does have some capacity spare. Second Panzer Army is over capacity, which doesn't help us out tremendously. I do want to try to avoid, when I can, having to use assault armies. And I think we can do that. I think what I might have to go ahead and do then is maybe in the north, like, essentially like what is like composed of like the 16th Army right now. I think what I go ahead and do is in fact have this corps placed under the command of Army Group North. Then that actually goes ahead and reduces the capacity. Well, it reduces the strain upon the 16th Army. I may then be able to actually take additional forces and place them under the command of... Well, to be fair, I could probably place all of this under the command of Army Group North, and it'd probably be okay. At which point, that does give me another army there. And I think that's what we're going to have to do. I think that's what we will do there. We'll be able to rectify that situation, but generally it's not too bad here. We do have defensive terrain. We do have good good positions for the most part. We do have a lot of strength that's going to come back over here too. The enemy strength isn't that great. It's a narrow front, so I can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and place them under the command of the Army Group North, and we will reduce the load. Yeah, now you can see over here. I'm going to keep the actual core commands here because they still are handy. Even just having the actual army is going to be quite useful to have. So I'm going to go ahead and place under the command of Army Group North. Excuse me. Which actually doesn't really change all that much because they're under the command of Army Group North anyway. I may have to move them closer, but they're within range though, so they're all good to go. Same there. I could maybe even move them closer from Pskov, but they're okay there. Yeah, you can see that we're down there significantly, which is good now. They... I mean, that one's really quite heavily overburdened, which is not exactly ideal. So I think what we're going to go ahead and do then is... stronger units are going to place under command of Army Group North directly. Then I can shift the actual core headquarters further to the south here, and command will give the benefits to units that are going to probably need them more. If that makes sense. Right, they need to be in reserve. They also need to be in reserve. Yeah, these guys aren't particularly strong, so they'll need that. These guys over here are like... Well, I can go ahead and actually place them under the command of the 10th. What I'm going to go ahead and do then is take the actual security division here, place under the command of Army Group North directly. Then that should allow me to bring those regiments into command. That should keep you there for now. And that is the 10th Corps. So to the 10th Corps you go. I-ho, I-ho. Off to the 10th Corps we go. Can't remember how the rest of the song goes, but you can imagine. Right, there we are. So we have that there. So that effectively has freed up the 16th Army now, wholesale, which is very good. So I can go ahead and have the 16th Army then shifted around. And what we'll go ahead and do then is we'll use that. I thought the stream had dropped. Has it? No, stream has not dropped. That's good. I thought it did for a second because my tablet went blank. But I think we're good. Yeah. If somebody in the chat could confirm, that would be excellent. Let me go ahead and just double check here. Yeah, we're all good there. That's good. That's good. My god, I'm getting a lot of adverts here. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let me go ahead and actually check on... I hope you guys agree so far. I think it's the best way we can do this then. Effectively freeing up another army out here is going to make a tremendous difference, especially with the fact that I could even place forces that... Yeah, I should be able to make it work. I can actually have the army used effectively as a mega core, if that makes sense. It's less efficient, but it does get the numbers in there. Effectively, it becomes the Soviet army command for us. But I'm going to go ahead and check on not logistics. I'm going to go ahead and check on here. So if I go to command here, if I go ahead and select, well, for a start map, if I select the army groups there. So this is where Don really comes in handy. I think what I'll do then is avoid actually changing the commander of 16th. So I should be able to manage it fairly okay. But I can definitely change things around. Like, I've got a lot of room to play with in North A and Don. So I think those are going to be the changes I make last when it comes to the actual army commands. I think those will be the last stage. But yeah, I can go ahead and actually move this up to 45 hexes away, which is really awesome. So I could go ahead and actually move that to Vitebsk. Oops. I want to do that sometimes. But yeah, we'll see what we could do there. We shall see. But effectively, what I want to go ahead and do then is I'm going to place the infantry into the command and bring... Well, in fact, what I could do is I could actually bring the 3rd Panzer around here, but I could bring the 16th Army down here somewhere. They can be shifted quite some distance, and obviously they can command up to 45... No, up to 15 hexes away, so they're far enough. So, we'll go with that. And of course have to move it onto the command then. I don't want to do that. I can, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and move that to Army Group Center then. We can manage that. So you go into the command of Army Group Center. They could move over here to Smolensk? Yeah, to Smolensk. But I've got capacity at 60 already. So Vitebsk would be quite nice, in fact. But I could have the third Panther moved out that way. Well, I'm going to go ahead and move that then to Smolensk. Like so. Okay. At this point then, let's take a look. I'm going to balance these corps out then, and then what I can do is assign them to the actual armies. We can make that work. But what I'll go ahead and do then is I'm going to take the actual command of the 3rd Panzer, have them moved out here to Vitebsk. That gives us the actual capacity increase there. I'll go ahead and hover it over. Well, we're up to 40k now. I think we were previously at 20, weren't we? Yeah, you can see that increases there pretty dramatically. If I could get another command in there, that'd be really good. It might have even been a good idea had I moved them in there, in fact. Yeah, I should have thought about that. But still, we've got options. We can make that work. 20k, 40k. 40k is definitely a big increase, so it's like 100% increase, whatever you want to call it. So that's pretty good. Okay. Now, each one is going to have to look after 5 divisions. So that is the 28th? No, 27th. And we'll go like that then. They'll have to manage 5. It is going to overload them by at least a point, but it's even, and it should get us through this. Right. So I'm going to have the 9th Army over here, but I'm going to have to see what I want to do with the 9th Army. I'll have to take off the access and have them placed on the 16th, but that gives me a lot of room to play with, to be honest. Okay. Can't move you. Can't move you. Damn it. That can be changed. That can be changed. Okay. You're going to go into that command then. There we are. 102nd is going to go into the command of the 23rd. As are these. Another 2 there. How you doing there, Simon? Is there a mechanism to destroy airfields as you retreat? We don't. There's. I suppose it's one of those of like. Airfields can be damaged, and I think they may be damaged. I'm not too sure. I'd have to check that. I don't think they can be destroyed per se. I think they can certainly be damaged. I'm pretty sure they can be damaged. Let me double check. Yeah, they can be damaged. But it's more so the fact of they may actually be able to gain the... I mean, it's one of those, really. It's like, in fairness, it's like it'd be quite difficult to knock out an airfield to the point of where it's no longer usable for an enemy. So airfields can be damaged, but the thing that you can do, and that will happen, is when there's no aircraft over here, then the actual airbase will disappear, so these actual assets over here will be moved out elsewhere. So I can damage an enemy's base, but I can't deliberately damage my own airbase, as far as I'm aware. I think maybe neglecting it might damage it, or just leave it as is, really. But it will take the enemy some time to actually move in there, and then, yeah, you can kind of do it like that. I guess it's one of those really... It's an interesting one. I'd say probably suggest suggest that in the forum, actually. I'm not too sure. Alright, again, they're going to go into 23rd. Okay, they're at 5. They're also at 5. Oh, so they're going to move down there. So we've got 2 there, which is good to go. I also do have a 9th army there directly, in fact. Right. So we're 41 there. These guys are going to need a core. This area is certainly going to need a core. But I could likely use the Panzer Command, but we'll see about that. I'm going to get these done at the front and then we can work backwards, really. Alright, so I do have a Panzer Command here. And in reality, I want to take the Panzer Corps away from them. That would really be a lot better down here and commanding those Panzer forces. So I'm going to go ahead and move it there. This is the army there. And again, another Panzer Corps, but obviously that's part of that force. I've got that corps there, which I'm going to go ahead and move under the command of the 9th Army, perhaps. And I've got 4th Corps here. So what I can go ahead and do then, let's move you over there. Right, you're going to command these 5 divisions, you're going to take command of these 5 divisions. So that is the, is that a 4th or the 6th Corps? That's a 6th Corps. Okay, so you move over to the 6th. You there as well. And you too. That's them. Then I can bring these. Right, so that's 5, so that's 15 divisions there. That may be about as much as we can handle with that. Now, 41 there. We are beginning to spread things out. In fairness, I can actually place them under the command of the army here for the 16th, which works out. Großdeutschland is an interesting case there. A mechanized commander would be ideal, but I could probably get away with like a balanced commander really for that. Yeah, we'll go with that. I can work with that. Panzer Corps. I mean, to be fair, I've got the Panzer forces sorted out here in the motorized, so I can actually make that work for me, so that's not too bad. I don't have a great need elsewhere. He's good, yeah, he'll do. So I'm up to there. So there onto that command there. It's going to be a bit of an ad hoc group. Add a command. Yeah, oh well, obviously that there. I may need a second one, in fact. But what I'm going to go ahead and do then is take the actual commands over here then. So I'm going to take the... what was that, 39th Panzer? Place them under the command of 39th. Like so. They're under that command, so they go to the 39th. Okay. And I can take one more, which is a bit awkward over here. So I'll probably need maybe one more to take on these stragglers around here, really. But I think what I'm going to go ahead and do... I don't know, actually. It's an interesting one here. Right. Panzer Corps needs to be moved away. Let me just put that there. You need to command another one then. So 23rd there. And I'm going to place you to command of the 9th Army. So you need 255th to go into the 9th. Ninth. That gives us a 5 there. So to the 9th. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is effectively shift the armies around. Like, what I'll do is actually have the Panzer Army move down this way, and I may be able to bring them, I may even be able to bring them into command there properly, but we'll see. The 16th really gives me a lot to work with, and I'll probably have the 16th take command of this area here, perhaps, but we'll see about that. 16th really does give me, like, a lot to play with, because I could, it really helps out. Really helps out. Maybe that 16th Army takes command of these guys here, to be fair. Yeah, probably will go for that. Okay. Yeah. Well, now it can remain then in this area then. Now, how many calls can the army actually handle? That's the question. Oh yeah, I forget what the actual number is for the actual, but it depends really. So 1, 2, 3. You can go into the command then of the 9th, like so. Oh, so they're heavily overburdened. Yeah, we'll make it work. Right, we're looking better there. They can go under the command of the 3rd Panzer Army, which obviously does bring me back over. But that's not too bad. Right. These guys can go to Army Group Center. That reduces it slightly. Oh, I pressed the wrong one there. So they go to Army Group Center. Plus we're free over, but that's not significantly poor. Obviously, this would be nice under a command there. I guess that's not too bad. Okay. So, what I'm going to go ahead and do then... As a Panzer Corps, I'd really prefer to use something else. But I don't really have that much of an option. Here's an interesting one. I mean, there's like all these cores over here. Right. Maybe I could have got away with actually having that under the 4th there. Okay. Right. Who... Ah, you have them there. Okay. Yeah, maybe I should have... yeah, I kind of regret doing that now. What I could maybe do then... You're into the 20th. You've got 400 your command now. Okay. Right, you can also move into that command. And then just shift you there. Then they can take over the command of Vasma. Right, which frees you up to head out here. Yeah, I've activated my actual Steam code for one of these two on Steam, as you'd imagine. Yeah, I thought it was out already, actually, but I didn't think... well, I didn't think it wouldn't be, but it isn't yet. But it will be soon, I'd imagine. Maybe some Steam issue, who knows. Right, okay, so we've got them. What I'm going to go ahead and do then is place these two commands under the command of the 16th Army, and we'll see where we go from there. But you can see that's generally how things are going to work out there. Now, I do have the 20th here. So they can go to the command of the 20th. Now, I should be able to make things work across the front, really. Right, there we are. That one's a bit awkward. I'm going to have you placed on the 20th. Like so. Okay. So they can go into the command of not. Damn it. Okay, that's going to be awkward. Well, what I might go ahead and do then? So you command these forces here. Okay. Is how about I put them under the command of the 16th and then we'll work it out that way. Ah, yeah, Steel Tigers, that's what I need to look into, actually. Right, okay, so I need to do something here pretty... What I could actually do then, because I do need to actually sort out the issues over here of the 2nd Panzer Army. And in reality, I'd like to take off the 2nd Panzer Army, but I don't really have that much for luxury. I know it feels like not a lot has actually been done, but in fairness, we actually have really made a lot of effort. Well, made a lot of gains here. I think what I'd like to do then is place onto that. I could actually take a core or not. Yeah, okay, 3rd Panzer's going to be difficult. That one could be placed onto 16th. So 16th can't move, but the 4th Army can. So... what I could get away with in is perhaps taking maybe a core here and maybe 2 cores over here perhaps, and then I could actually shift the 4th Army down this way and take over the command of 2 cores down there. Then that would actually free up the 2nd Panzer Army a decent amount. I've got 2nd Army there, and that may help us out, but what I'll do is I'll focus on relieving pressure from here. 9th is an interesting one, but I could I should be able to make it work, because I've still got the 9th here anyway, so we'll see what we can do. Sorry, 16th. I mean, that's 27. They're fully ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and place them under the command of... I'm going to start with the full core first, and then I get an idea how much. So that can go under the command of 16th Army. That's going to be... that's going to be... I'm going to have to apply those colours, aren't I? Otherwise, we're going to get a little bit confused there. But Oh, sorry about that. I nearly choked on it. Oh, God. Okay. That's 10. Okay. So can I effectively handle 10 divisions is 20. I guess I can kind of handle about 23 divisions, 24, 25, 20 something like that. About probably 25-ish. I guess give or take. That has 3 there. Right. Then what I'll do... let's see. I think I'll take the center here, and then that means knife can go that way. That means that one can go that way. Yeah, so they can go to back. That's going to be a bit awkward, but they're going to be in the same area really anyway, so it's not that bad. Yeah, they're within range. Right, 16th. And they change colour. That's interesting. Now that has relieved quite a lot of pressure over here. Not enough yet, but a lot. It doesn't really matter all that much, actually. That can remain as is. That can remain more or less as is. How are we looking then at 9th? Yeah, so they need more taken out. I could take another full core away, and then that should be able to work there. Yeah, I know F4. Oh dear. Right, they can go to 16th there. So it does overload 16th by only 3 points, but it does mean that 9th is operating more efficiently, and I could then maybe have like a core moved out under to AGC Direct. Like this could maybe be moved into AGC Direct perhaps. But we'll see about that. Right, okay. Now they're looking better, which is good. So what I'll do is I'll take over the command of that call. They can go to the 4th army. Which, yeah. Oh, good god. Right, they need another core. So that core command needs to go the hell down here. There's just simply no way we can handle that. That's just no good. No good at all. Oh, good god. That's going to need some reorganizing. Okay. Right, they're going to have to go into the Command of Armed Group Center. Yeah, there we go. So that brings that into line there. So 16th is good, 9th is good, 4th is good, 3rd Panzer is good. There's a little bit of like over capacity. Well, yeah, you know what I mean. Some small issues there, but not that bad. Not that bad. We can make that work. We haven't had to use a assault army out here as well, which is good. So it means that they'll be able to dig in more effectively. I do have that to deal with, which is less than good. I may just have to bite the bullet on that one and just accept that. I think I'll bite the bullet on that one. It's not that many divisions. Yeah. Right, I do want them to be properly commanded. Yeah, that takes us up there. Maybe I should have left them under the command of Thingamajiggy, but that's okay. It means that this is properly commanded over here now. So 3rd Panzer is effectively in command of this position here. For good or for ill, it's better. Kinda. I mean, obviously, to the north does not have the benefit of an army. So it's going to become a little bit awkward, but we'll try and make things work. We do have more army groups, which certainly helps us out, so what I'll probably try and do then is, like, armies... Well, to be fair, yeah, positions that don't need an army per se, we could probably get away with just using the army, army group. Like, maybe over here in the north could probably get away with the army group. I mean, at least that gives me an army to where I need it, but it depends, really. Very much depends. Okay. Now, this is where the fun begins. Let's take a look at the army groups then, shall we? Right, they're under the command of Army Group B, which is there. So we have North, Centre, B, A, and Don. Or Don's here, and we have A. I think, yes, so North, Centre, A. No, B. We have B, Don, and A. There we are. I had to think about that. Yeah, there's A. And then under the command of the Romanian there. There's Don. So Don's going to take command of this area. Right, B can take the... Okay. You're under Army Group B. Do you not have... Damn it. I can't re-assign them. It makes things awkward. How about the Hungarians? Damn those Hungarians. Oh, and then oh, fuck. You're under the command of center. Okay. Right. That's going to be awkward. But 2nd Panzer needs to go to the command of Army Group Don. That is going to free up a lot of pressure on Army Group Center. Yeah. That will help out. You should consider we are quite heavily overloaded there. So yeah, they can go into the command there of Don. If I double check, like if I take an army. Where's an army when you need an army? Right, yeah. So they can be within 45 hexes of their army group. So yeah, that's fine. So, should be fine. I can also move Don if I need to. Probably. I'll sort that out. Right, so 2nd Panzer Army can go into the command then of Army Group Don. I could have made it B, but B's an awkward one because it has these guys over here. And I can't really do all that much with them. Well, I was like, Don wasn't doing anything right now. Yeah, so... they're just slightly out of range. But I could move that back. I could move it to like Stalingrad or something like that. Maybe even Rostov. We'll see about Rostov. Or in fairness, I could actually just move that army. No, I'll move it. Right, so Stalno, Australino. Yeah, Australino is pretty good. Move there. Well, actually, no, in fairness, I don't even need it down here. The situation's actually in hand down here, then, for the most part. So I can't really do all that much anyway. But then again, we still have forces over here that we need to properly assign. Yes, 4th Panzer Army here. I need to get 4th Panzer Army sorted. Remain is going to remain under their own commands. I need a German corps down here. So I can get that. Yeah, we'll have to make that work. No. Yeah, it means that Army Group Center has at least less pressure on it. What I could maybe do then is place the 3rd Panzer. In fact, I could. You know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and do then, and that removes all the real pressure there. If I take a look at where's North. North. Ooh, okay, that's a spicy one. Yeah. Okay, maybe not a magic fix there. But generally again, though. Now, we don't have all that long left at stream, and I know it feels like I've done nothing per se, but we've actually made some pretty important decisions here that will have quite a real impact. We managed to... Well, I just need to reorder the... Well, in fact, I can place the corps in their final positions, more or less. The plot... Move there. Does that actually up my capacity? No. Shame. But I'll move the 9th Army there. Can I get away with that? Well, I can get away with that. Hell yeah. Can I get away with that? No. Can get away with that. That works. That brings up the capacity over here, which is good. I can work with that. That there. Oh, wow. Love it. Don't love it. Well, that's fine. Can I establish another depot? No. Eesh. That'll be fine now. That's the important thing there anyway. I will establish a depot there just so I have another one. There we are. Okay, so the calls are in position now. So it's more or less as things are going to look for the most part. Here. Go there. The army could actually move over here to Bryansk, which is actually really good, so that actually is going to help us out with capacity. So if I move the army here, yeah, that rises to 40k. They're just within range. Fantastic. Very nice. So that brings us up to 40k there. We have 60k there. We have 50k here. I could up that again, but I'm going to have a cause out here. But that means that we have 60, 40, 50. That's good. That increases the capacity of those depots in the area quite significantly, which is very good for us in the long run there. Yeah, I'm quite happy about that. Yeah. Now, with the last 5 minutes, there's not all that much I can really do there. So, how about some questions in from the chat? What do you guys think so far? Is there anything you'd like to ask? Anything you'd like to know? So, yeah, we'll use these last few minutes then just to answer some questions. Do let me know. If it's indeed an equation size. Now, this is when I wish I had the actual changelog up so I can actually talk about the update. But generally, things are going to be quite interesting. It will be really intriguing. I think they're generally in position over there. Would have been nice if I had more core stack, but I can't do all that much there. I would like to relieve the pressure on Army Group Center. I could probably... What could I do? What could I do? Maybe I should have been placing these guys under OKH, but I didn't think about that. That'd have been wise. Right. Yeah, see, like these guys under... Yeah, should have been under OKH and then they'd been fine. I have a unit out there. Oh, right, yeah, forgot about that. Okay. Okay, out there. Oh, it's Stalingrad. Stalingrad's an interesting case. So if I go ahead and take a look over here then. We're going to be looking at this in the next stream. I know it feels like it's been forever, but it has been forever. There's just a lot to do, really, in the campaign here. But we have 75, well, just shy of 75 there. Supply is not a terrible problem, in a sense. I mean, this is actual supply. Supply doesn't count freight. In terms of freight, which is converted to supply, we do have a good amount there. So it's like 17k there, 4.7 there, 6.2 there, 4.7 there, and 4.5 there. So there's quite a bit of freight, quite a bit of supply. Fuel, not so much. Definitely not a lot of fuel. So really what we're going to be looking at doing then, because there's not all that much more I can do along the line. You can see that we do have a good chunk of change stored in these depots too. So effectively what I'm going to have to go ahead and do is, well, for a start over here. I was going to bring more down to the area here really if I can. If it's on the front line it should be anyway. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't move troops like that. It's a bit of a shame. But we will be able to break out. Don't worry about that one. I can do that one. Yeah, the 10kV dismount, exactly Arthur. Yeah, essentially what we're going to have to do then is in the next stream is we can break out. I'm fairly confident we can break out there. Fairly confident. The thing that I really have to worry about is fuel. That's the thing that'll kill us. So I can probably fly fuel in. If I can get fuel... Well, if I can fly fuel in, I'll fly fuel in. All the air transports are currently in reserve, or will be in the reserve next turn, so it's going to take some time. But, yeah, well, exactly, I know what you mean, yeah. Yeah. No, I know that's what historically happened, but due to the nature of the game, can't do that as far as I'm aware. The Italians are going to get pushed around here. No, yeah, I mean, this is it. It's like, we are just going to have to completely abandon Stalingrad. I'd love to retain it, but I just can't. It's just not viable. But, yeah. So, next stream is going to be finishing off over here. I'm going to make sure the command's sorted out here. And then what we'll do then is we'll take care of the Stalingrad situation. But before Stalingrad, we'll take care of the situation over here. And begin moving forces back. And we'll see how that goes. But that will be what we'll be doing. But for the most part now, the north and centre, where we did have a lot to do, is now sorted. This will be done soon enough, and then we'll be good to go. We've done the air power, we've done quite a lot. But it'll be good. Once we get that done, then things are more or less underway, and the campaign will begin in earnest. But thank you for watching there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've had a good time. I've had a great time as always, and I do hope to see you again in the near future, which will be, in fact, tomorrow when I'll be playing Command Modern Operations. So, Jane, Oyasumi and I shall see you guys in the future. Sayonara. Take care. Stay sexy. And go ahead and follow me here on YouTube at XTRG. And if you enjoyed the video, click that like button. There's that bell icon and all that jazz. And subscribe if you're not. That'd be much appreciated. Until next time, thank you. Goodbye for now.